Hi guys. Hello. Late one today. I'm having a piercing headache, so I might need to cut the newscast short at some point. It really depends. Right now, I just have a really, really bad tension headache. I don't like taking meds for headaches. I don't like taking meds in general unless I really need it. So, chances are that at some point I might need to step down. It depends on how I feel. So I'm just going to warn you right away so that isn't a surprise in case that happens. Wait. I didn't sleep very well last night. So that might be why I'm experiencing the headache. But you never know. Let me put on my glasses and I'll say hello to everybody because I don't currently see anything. I do see Prexis, I see Grumpy, I see Armin, I see. Oh, wow, okay. Long time no see. Yeah. Hi, Veronica. Hi, James. Hi, Noemi. Hi, Joe. Hi, Lucky Skill. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Prexis. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Grumpy. Hi, Armin. Hi, Crazy Cat. Yes, you are first. iSpec can help. I will look into that. Hi, Juju. Actually, an iSpec sounds like a great freaking idea. I would love that. Tiger Balm. It's a great alternative to meds. Interesting. I will look that up. Hi, April. Hi, Norm. Hi, Juju. So, yeah, today, if you're looking for me on TikTok, then my lives are still banned until the 11th, I believe. So, I am on my backup account on YouTube while I'm here. Hi, everybody. My name is Yulia. I've been born and raised. I was born and raised in Lviv, Ukraine, and I moved here 12 years ago. I moved here 12 years ago to New York City from Lviv, and my entire immediate family, lives in Lviv, Ukraine. And today and every day on this channel, we do newscasts pertaining to Ukraine, and we dissect, discuss, break down, whatever you want to call it, everything that had happened. And this stream is currently being cast on 4 different platforms: TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter for now. So if you prefer any which one of those platforms more than the one you're currently at, you can easily switch by typing the same thing that you see as my handle everywhere but TikTok. TikTok, since I'm on my backup account, all of my other social media is the same, but without its. So it's just Yulia. Wow, bad headache. So that's what we do here. So if you would like to switch to any other social media, you're welcome to. I would very much appreciate it if you found me on YouTube and gave me a subscribe or a follow, because it does help tremendously. And I'm trying to work on YouTube because, well, now I'm monetized on YouTube, and so that way I can donate profits to the armed forces of Ukraine, which I am right now deciding. All of the 25% of profits from every brief on YouTube definitely goes to the armed forces of Ukraine. All of the proceeds from monetization from Torque's video also go to Torque, but I am thinking of how to increase that and how to do it better. So stay tuned. Yes, also, I do very much appreciate all the subscriptions and stuff like that. You now can subscribe to me on YouTube as well. There is one level so far, and it's $9.99. And I think that what I'm going to do is I'm also going to take 25% of subscriptions from YouTube, and I'm going to send them towards Armed Forces of Ukraine as well. So yes, and that is from every month, so not like a one-time thing. I think that today I'm gonna dive straight into the news because I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to how long I'm going to be able to be on air, provided that I do have this very, 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 very annoying headache. So I'm gonna jump straight in. If you have any questions, suggestions, or anything like that, please let me know and I will be happy to answer them. And then if you have any questions or suggestions or anything like that during the news, you are welcome to send super chats. They're very appreciated and will ensure that I see your question. So yeah, thank you very much. And let's talk about everything that happened in and around Ukraine in the past 24 hours. So there is a panic ensuing in Russia because Engels Airfield, which is in Saratov region in Russia, which is about 717 kilometers away from Luhansk, was attacked yesterday by drones, and two of their fighter jets basically were like missile carriers, were destroyed. Preliminarily, it was said that two soldiers serving at the base were unalived. But then it turned out to be three. And while Ukraine didn't confirm that it was us, we also did not confirm that it was us. And at this point, by tonight, there have been 3 attacks on different Russian airfields. And the third one has been confirmed recently as attack on the Saratov airfield again. So one of the reasons why I don't foresee Ukraine admitting that it was us for a little bit is because it's a good OPSEC strategy. Because Russia doesn't know what kind of weapons we have, and Russia doesn't know if it was us. Russia won't know if it was us, and it's kind of like it's like a mind. I'm gonna say mind fiddling technique because I don't want to curse, but it's basically a mind fiddling technique to ensue panic and to make them worry, to make them not know what to do, to make them guess, basically. So it's not admitting to a strike like that is a very, very, very genius way of causing and ensuing havoc. So there has been a lot of speculation abroad whether Ukraine had developed those drones because there were projects in development in 2021, or whether the United States finally supplied Ukraine with long-range weapons. Again, there was no confirmation on either of that. I am more inclined to believe that we developed those drones with a long range strike capability, because I don't foresee the United States giving us weapons that could escalate the conflict. The thing that annoys me incredibly is the way Western media writes their headlines, right? So New York Times, while they have been doing quite a few very questionable things as of late and as of recent, one of them being publishing incredibly misleading information about Iran that wasn't confirmed and that wasn't even real, then saying that Twitter didn't lose that many users and that Mastodon didn't gain that many users and stuff like that. And then the last thing that they have published was Ukraine attacks Russian airfield, escalating the war. So the reason why it's incredibly like deceiving, misleading, shock value kind of headline that only damages everything and doesn't help anyone is because, what do you mean? Russia has launched over 70 missiles on Ukraine that day. Russia launched 70 missiles and left a couple of cities without water and electricity. And Ukraine taking out 2 missile carriers at an airbase is escalating the war. I absolutely despise the way that the Western world uses the escalating the war sentence. It's so disgusting. It's so disgusting, and it's kind of toying with people's lives, and it's just it's basically a word that it's a sentence that had turned into like shock value content, without looking at consequences and without looking at how it's presented and without looking at how much damage it does. A country defending itself and a country being attacked from all angles, a country losing its civilian infrastructure every day, a country losing people every day, a country whose cities have been wiped to the ground, a country who has had war crimes committed in it by the Russians in 8 months than in any which war combined, is escalating the war by taking out missile carriers that conduct these operations that leave us without electricity and water? No, absolutely not. And the New York Times knows this. The New York Times knows that we're not escalating the war by taking out missile carriers from a military airfield. The New York Times knows that we're not escalating the war by asking the US for long-range missiles. The New York Times knows that that Ukraine defending itself is not escalating the war. The New York Times wants a catchy front page. The New York Times wants the readers to buy their newspaper. And that's why they say things like that. And it's so disgusting in terms of integrity of press, especially for like a publication that big and, a publication that trusted around the world. It's honestly a disgusting thing because I do understand, using like shock value headlines when it goes to like something. I personally don't like shock value headlines to begin with, right? But like, if you're talking about some like celebrity mishap, if you're talking about some like, I don't know, like big hotshot lawyer on Wall Street being arrested for like cocaine possession, sure, whatever, you want to make it more shocking, make it more shocking. But when you're talking about people's lives and when you're talking the war and when you're putting support of people towards defending a country that has been used and abused and abused and abused all over again for 9 months. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. That's unforgivable. There is no journalistic integrity in there. And that is not a topic for which you look for, shock value content. Also, hi, Jen. Hi, Kareen. And hi, Brother Nix from the grave. Ooh, Yulia, Kazakh people are with Ukraine all the way. Thank you. I do very much appreciate the support from Kazakhstan, and I do very much appreciate what you guys have been doing in your country in order to show Russians exactly where they should shove it. Okay. Oh my gosh. So for those of you who just joined, I'm having an incredibly like such a severe headache today. Hi, Nick. And I can tell that it's getting worse because I'm like eating words and I'm stumbling upon words. So what I'm going to do is you guys know that I normally like to, talk about lots of different things. And I like to give a lot of my opinions and discuss things and stuff like that. But unfortunately, I think I need to start reading the news because if I don't, then I'm just not going to be able to do it later. So today might be a quick one. Today might be a quick little live, depending on how long I can persevere through it. Okay, oil storage tank caught fire near Kursk airfield as a result of a drone attack. I love how it's Kursk oil tank caught fire as a result of a drone attack. I mean, I think it's rather, it didn't catch fire, it was set on fire by a drone attack. It's like, it's the words that we use to deliver the news that matter so much, because this kind of gives it the ambiguity of like, oh, it caught fire. So, it could have been any which number of things, but then it's like, oh, as a result of a drone attack, so it didn't catch fire. Catch fire implies something accidental. This wasn't an accident. This was set on fire. Armed Forces of Ukraine. These three words contain all the power and strength of the Ukrainian nation and the ability to resist anyone and anything. Steel hardened by battles for freedom and great patriots. All of them are citizens of Ukraine who decided to defend it and lay down their lives for it. Today, it has become the most important holiday because it is thanks to the armed forces that we can celebrate it. Glory to the armed forces of Ukraine. So today is the day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and today is the day of appreciation of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. And so I do want to say that I am very grateful for every man and woman who joined the Ukrainian military because thanks to them, my parents are in relative safety, right? Thanks to them, my grandparents are in relative safety. Thanks to them, they are not taken over and colonized by Russia. Russian troops may repeat a massive missile attack on Ukraine's energy system today. That was as of 2:06 a.m. They can repeat today. Firstly, the holiday is the day of the armed forces. Secondly, we see the following trends. On October 10th to 11th, October 17th to 18th, they struck one day. On the second day, they struck somewhat less, but still struck, said Yuri Ignat, spokesman for the Air Force Command of the Armed Forces of Ukraine during a telethon. They did end up striking, hi Danon, they did end up striking, and they did end up striking, I believe, Kherson region incessantly, but just Kherson region. Russian opposition TV channel Dozhd was deprived of its license in Latvia. Let me remind you, so Dozhd is the Russian opposition TV channel, and that's also the channel that basically was they moved from Russia to Latvia because they were their news broadcast was banned in Russia, and they're like opposition media, and they're so anti-war and so pro-Ukrainian. But one of their TV hosts last week, I think it was last week, or maybe, or yeah, last week, definitely. I forgot that today is like Monday, right? Or no, Tuesday. I'm so lost. My God. So basically, the TV channel is the Russian opposition TV channel, right? And there was a news host that was talking about the conditions in which the Russian army is forced to fight at the front lines, how they have no gear, how their conditions are really treacherous, how the government doesn't care about them. And he said this, he said that we published these stories and hopefully we were able to help our armed forces on the front lines, at least in the smallest way we could, by providing them with basic gear and basic comforts. So a lot of people took it, as myself included, as them fundraising for the soldiers on the front lines. The TV channel immediately fired the host and said that he misspoke and stuff like that, and that that's not what they were doing, and they're not helping anybody on the front lines and stuff like that. But first of all, well, I don't believe them, right? Like, I was going to wait for Latvia's investigation, and apparently Latvia investigated it and they revoked their license, and they fined them 10,000 euros. But also, what I want to say is that, sure, they might have not been fundraising per se, but they were publishing stories that encouraged helping those guys because they are in treacherous conditions. And it's like, okay, if you are so anti-war and you are so pro-Ukrainian, then you're not going to encourage citizens who read you to help the armed forces of Russia on the front lines with basic comforts and basic gear, because you understand that you are basically helping them unalive and invade Ukrainians more comfortably, right? So anyways, earlier the channel was fined 10,000 euros. Delphi, which Delphi is like the Bellingcat of Latvia, wrote that the fine was imposed because the TV channel designated the occupied Crimea as a part of Russia and called the Russian army our army. Also, the TV channel made the statement about assistance to the military of Russia. TV presenter Alexei Korostelev called on viewers to send money and aid to the Russian military in Ukraine. Dozhd stopped cooperation with its host after that, but it did not stop the wave of indignation. The Latvian defense minister called for the revocation of the channel's license. So yeah, here's the thing. They basically fired the guy because they wanted to put the blame solely on him and be like, oh, we didn't do anything. It was just this one TV host. But here's the thing. This one TV host wouldn't have just said that on his own, right? Like when you work for a network, you agree on things that are allowed and that are not allowed. You agree on things that you stand for. So you generally know what you can and cannot say on air, right? So they thought that they would get away with it. They thought it would be okay, but of course the world didn't. Odessa, de-energized after Russian shelling, was left without heat and water. Ukrenergo promises to restore power supply in the next few days. This is Odessa. The reason why you don't see much is because it's completely and fully de-energized after missile strikes. Wait. A third. So Beef Ninja says, yeah, I hear the third might have been hit in Kursk. Yes, it has been hit in Kursk, and here's the video from there. This is Kursk region, and an oil tank was on fire due to these drone strikes as well. The UN said that since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, which, here's the thing, I'm going to read these numbers, but I'm going to tell you what I find wrong with them. The UN said that since the beginning of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine, 6,702 civilians have been unalived. First of all, the latest number of official deaths was over 17,000, and also that does not include Mariupol. Then they said in total, 17,181 people have been affected by the war and 10,479 people were injured. Now, what do they mean by 17,181 people have been affected by the war? It's millions of people who have been affected by the war, because currently millions of people are sitting there without electricity. Currently, millions of people are abroad, forced to abandon their houses, their parents, their families, and stuff like that, and move to safety because there are consistent missile strikes. There are people who have been internally displaced because they fled regions like Luhansk, Donetsk, Kharkiv, when it was occupied, Zaporizhia, Kherson. What do you mean 17,181 people have been affected by the war? What do you mean, the United Nations, 17,181 people were affected by the war? It is millions upon millions upon millions of people that have been affected by the war. I have been affected by the war. I'm Ukrainian. I mean, I'm not going to put myself onto that list, but I'm just saying that this is such a ridiculous thing to say that it's 17,000 people and change. Because, I've been affected by the war, okay? And I'm thousands of miles away. So if I have been affected by this, then, 45 million Ukrainians have been affected by the war. 45 million Ukrainians. Well, less now probably because of how many people were unalived. But every single person who lives in Ukraine has been affected by the war. 17,000 people have been affected by the war. This is such a irresponsible, disgusting statement by the UN. I don't even know where to begin with that. The area of the fire at the airfield in the suburbs of Kursk is about 500 square meters. Happy Armed Forces of Ukraine Day. Armin's quote of the day is up, so I'm going to read it now. So Armin's quote says, Lucius Annius Seneca said, all cruelty springs from weakness, or Seneca, I guess in English. All cruelty springs from weakness. Russia's constant atrocities against civilians are a sign of its weakness and a sign that Russia is losing. Sadism is a sign of desperation. Indeed, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. It's like the more things, it's like a bully, a bully doesn't bully you because they think you're weaker. They think that bullying you makes them present stronger. That's just what it is. Russian troops massively shelled Kherson region, targeting high-rise buildings and infrastructure facilities. Here are some photos from the police of the Kherson region. Hello. Putin held a meeting via video link with members of the Russian Security Council where they discussed ensuring the internal security of the country. The meeting was held against the backdrop of news about attacks, presumably by Ukrainian drones on airfields in Russian regions. Canada to provide Ukraine with $15 million worth of demining equipment, according to Sky News. 24 EU countries have offered their participation in a new military mission for Ukraine, EU diplomat Joseph Borrell says. 24 member states have put forward more than 100 proposals for training modules, which are currently being reviewed for their relevance to Ukrainian needs. Ukraine has released 60 soldiers of the armed forces, National Guard, and Border Guards from captivity. Among them are 15 officers, 45 privates, and sergeants. And I don't know if any of them are Azov. I don't think so, but I will try and do my research. Because Russia has not been exchanging Azov at all. Satellite image of the Engels Airfield taken this morning. Foam from fire extinguishers is visible under the Tu-95. There we go. As you can see here, I will show you. Basically, under this aircraft, you can see foam, and that looks like like foam from fire extinguishers. Hungary has blocked the disbursement of 18 billion from the European Union to Ukraine at a meeting of EU finance ministers. This decision requires unanimous approval, so Budapest used its veto power to put pressure on decisions concerning its state treasury. Radio Liberty journalist Ricard Jozwiak said that the meeting was a very emotional discussion in which Budapest was criticized by everyone, but to no avail. Russian armed forces spent 400 to 500 million on yesterday's shelling of Ukraine, according to Forbes. The interesting thing is how much money they're willing to waste for no reason instead of doing something beneficial inside of their country. Because if you think about it, Russia lost that 400 to 500 million because out of over 70 of their missiles, over 60 of them were taken down by our air defense. The mayor of Dnipro announced the dismantling of monuments to Russians, in particular Pushkin, Lomonosov, and Gorky. Yeah, Ukraine has been de-Russianizing and de-Russifying our territory, and that includes removing monuments to Russian poets and literary figures because we have enough of our own. The stockpiles of Russian high-precision weapons have reached a critical minimum, but they will be enough for several large-scale attacks on Ukraine, Chief of the Intelligence of Ukraine, Kirill Budanov said. The first high-quality satellite images of the Russian airfield in Engels after the explosion have appeared. The photos show traces of fire and fire foam near one of the Tu-95 bombers. Probably the aircraft suffered more damage. So here is another angle of that. And this is the bomber, and obviously it's not in commission and it's not going to be able to fly. because as you can see, there is lots of tar around it and also lots of foam. Losses of the Russian occupiers in Ukraine as of today amount to 92,200 personnel. Swedish retailer H&M, hi Natlin, which has been operating in Russia since 2009, confirmed the closure of all Russian stores, the press service of the retailer said. Russia launched a missile attack on the industrial infrastructure of Kryvyi Rih. The consequences and casualties are not yet known. We cannot allow one state to disrupt the assistance to Ukraine. Vice President of the European Commission Vladis Dombrovskis. He believes that the EU will make a political decision that will allow to provide 18 billion euros of assistance to Ukraine in 2023, despite the position of Hungary. Yeah, that's the whole point where, like, they really cannot allow one state, especially led by a fascist government, to dictate what's going to happen. India benefits through our suffering, said Dmytro Kuleba, the foreign minister of Ukraine. He rebuked India for sharp increase in purchase of Russian oil. Why did India significantly increase the purchase of Russian oil? Because Russia offered very attractive conditions, cheap prices, good contracts. Why does Russia offer low prices for its oil? Because of the war it unleashed in Ukraine. And the problem is the supply of oil to European markets, the minister said. He added that Ukraine is equally critical of any country in the world, whether in Europe, Asia, or elsewhere, that buys Russian oil in large quantities, because Russia uses the money from this to finance the war and kill Ukrainians. If you integrate this element into your thinking, then of course your foreign policy should be adjusted to expand support for Ukraine. If you benefit from our suffering, it would be good if your help was addressed to us, he stressed. Ukraine and Moldova create a working group to coordinate traffic in the EU, Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal reports. Hungarian Prime Minister Orban said that Budapest, although it has blocked the EU macro-financial assistance to Ukraine, is actually not against financial support to Ukraine, but in a different way. Yeah, okay, what way is that? Today, all the news is that Hungary has blocked financial assistance to Ukraine, because you have. This is all fake. Hungary is ready to provide financial assistance to Ukraine, but on a bilateral basis. No veto, no blackmail. We want to convince the EU countries that the common European debt is not the solution, Orban wrote. Victor, no matter how much money goes to Ukraine, no matter if Ukraine does not get the money that you're not wanting Ukraine to get, that's not going to increase your support from the EU. The EU is not going to give Hungary more money if it doesn't give money to Ukraine, because it is about the aid being blocked to Hungary. It's not about anything else. It's because Orban is scared that the EU is going to be giving Orban less money. But the thing is, first of all, EU was going to give Orban less money already, because the EU keeps investing and investing into Hungary, and Hungary keeps not producing anything back. It's one of the least successful European countries. Least successful European countries. It requires, it's number 2 in requiring help from the EU, and it's at the bottom of the list in the actual use that the EU gets from having Hungary in it. So, like, just shut up, Viktor Orban. Oh, hi, Karine. Thank you so much. Thank you, Karine. I really appreciate it. Joseph is asking, quick question, a little off topic. When it comes to languages, do Ukrainians and Russians commonly understand each other, or is bilingualism a commonality to the extent of usual? Thanks. So Russians don't normally understand Ukrainians. Ukrainians understand Russians because we had to learn Russian during Soviet Union and all the Russification processes. Russians mostly can't pronounce Ukrainian, nor do they really understand it. They say they do, but then when you start speaking Ukrainian to them, they don't understand you. Ukrainian and Russian only have 62% of syntaxical similarity. To give you a more avid comparison of that, German and Dutch have 82% similarity, and Italian and Spanish have 80% similarity. So Ukrainian and Russian are not that similar. And also, Ukrainians understand Belarusian, but like Ukrainian and Belarusian is much more similar. And then Ukrainian and Polish is much more similar than Ukrainian and Russian. I personally have friends in Lviv who don't speak Russian. Like I know Russian because half of my family is Russian speaking. I have friends in Lviv who have never learned um, Russian and they don't understand it. Like it's really hard for them to understand it. And like they can understand, but they can't speak it at all. Germany refused to transfer Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine, according to Polish defense minister. After the conversation, I'm disappointed to decide to abandon the plans. The deployment. Oh my gosh! Thank you, Netlin. Netlin and Karine, thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. And also, I miss those peonies. They're very pretty. After the conversation, I'm disappointed to decide to abandon the plans. The deployment of Patriot in the western regions of Ukraine would have enhanced the security of Poles and Ukrainians. Yeah, of course, Germany was not going to give us Patriot air defense systems. Reznikov estimated the remains of Russian missile arsenal at 13% of Iskanders, 30% of calibers, and thousands of S-300. They have already done many things without calculating their own consequences. They're really using the stockpile of cruise and ballistic missiles. In many positions, they have already gone far beyond the necessary reserve in case of an attack on them. If you look at the Iskander missiles, they have less than 13% of them left, although the rules say that at least 25 or even 30 should be left. Before yesterday's attack, there were 37% of calibers. Yesterday, they fired 20%. Respectively, it is already approaching 30%, Reznikov said. Explosions were heard in Dnipro as of 3:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. EU included Ukraine in Horizon Europe program with funding of 13.5 billion. The program provides for the research for advanced technologies for further technological and economic development of the EU, as well as measures to support Ukraine. The new measures will include ensuring access of Ukrainian scientists to the European research infrastructure, continuation of targeted support for Ukrainian scientists in the field of medicine, as well as climate-neutral reconstruction of several Ukrainian cities using the capabilities of the so-called EU Mission for Climate Neutral and Smart Cities. In Engels, where the air base near Saratov is located, an air raid siren was activated today. This is the same airbase where UAVs recently arrived and eliminated several Russian bombers. The cause of the alarm is currently unknown. Well, it is known that Ukraine managed to attack that airfield again, or rather, the airfield was attacked again. One of the Ukrainian pilots during ejection. This is the type of stuff you go through. And I'm going to show you a meme that I saw earlier today that I thought was really, really funny. So this is one of the Russian spokespeople. And the meme says, today our armed forces destroyed 38 HIMARS, 50K troops, and 4 Zelenskys. So yeah. Okay, let's see what the Kyiv Independent has to say today, and we're going to summarize. Kyiv Independent has been having a lot more to say recently than everyone else. Okay, General Staff says Ukraine's military repels Russian attacks near 7 settlements in Donetsk Oblast. Russian governor reports drone attack in Kursk Oblast near airfield. Governor says Russian forces injure 9 civilians in Donetsk Oblast on December 5th. Governor says Russian attacks kill 1 person in Kharkiv Oblast. UK Defense Ministry says explosions at Russian air bases may be some of the most strategically significant failures of force protection. Following explosions at Engels Air Base in Saratov Oblast and Degilaevo Airfield near Ryazan on December 5th, Russia may temporarily move its bombers to dispersal airfields and penalize the Russian officers deemed responsible for allowing the incident, the UK Defense Ministry said. Well, Russia themselves are responsible for allowing the incident because they thought they were safe at home. Opinion. Alexander Query, Macron's spineless realpolitik poses danger to Ukraine and beyond. French President Emmanuel Macron is not credible anymore. His latest baffling statement on national television about giving security guarantees to Russia has caused a rightful outrage in the international community. One of the essential points we must address, as Russian President Vladimir Putin has always said, is the fear that NATO comes right up to its doors and the deployment of weapons that could threaten Russia, Macron said. Yeah, he has said that, and I honestly was baffled because in the beginning of the invasion, he was basically saying, what's the point of sending weapons to Ukraine? They're never going to be able to defeat Russia. And then now that Ukraine is defeating Russia, he's like, we need to give Russia security guarantees. And it's like, how much compromising information does Russia have on you? Reuters says Latvia cancels license of Russian independent TV channel Dozhd. Prosecutor General's office, Russia's war has killed 443 children and injured 853 since February 24th. Russian forces launched 5 missiles on Bakhmut, Donetsk Oblast in the past day. Zelensky visits frontline in Donbass on Ukraine's Armed Forces Day. This video was published by Andriy Yermak, the head of the president's office. This video was published by Andriy Yermak, the head of the president's office, and it shows Ukrainian prisoners of war released in the recent exchange with Russia. In total, 60 Ukrainian defenders returned home on December 6th. Yeah, Macron has never been credible, Karine. I agree with you, but as in, at some point, I thought that he finally realized that, trying to be friendly with Russia is not going to help him in any way. And so he started saying things that made sense. And then he just came back to his normal crazy rhetoric. Zelensky visits the front line in Donbass on Ukraine's Armed Forces Day. Today, the east of Ukraine is the most difficult direction, and I'm honored to be here now with our defenders in Donbass, President Volodymyr Zelensky said on December 6th. I believe that next time we will meet in Ukraine's Donetsk, Luhansk, and I'm sure in Crimea as well, he said. Zelensky thanked Ukraine's military for its resilience and strength, calling them the army and outpost of our independence. New York Times says Russia continues missile productions despite Western sanctions. Some of the cruise missiles used by Russia in its strikes in Ukraine were produced no earlier than October, the New York Times reported on December 6th, citing Conflict Armament Research, a British independent analyst group that tracks illegal weapons in conflicts. Intelligence says Russia has enough missiles left for several new waves of mass strikes on Ukraine. Hungary blocks 18 billion euros of EU assistance for Ukraine. Kuleba said 2 more Ukrainian embassies receive suspicious parcels. I ask those who continue to send these packages and terrorize our embassies to relax and stop wasting time and money on postage stamps. You won't achieve anything with this, Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said on December 6th. Oh my gosh. I find it so funny. So, do you know this company, Stone Island? It's a company that used to do some collaborations with Adidas, but it's a pretty upscale kind of utility brand. So Kuleba wears a lot of their clothes, and they're doesn't this look like a NATO logo to you? Because it's a Stone Island logo, but it looks like a NATO logo. Okay, give me 1 second because Give me 1 second because Cindy's trying to get in here. 1 sec. Cindy. Oh, dog. No, dog. No. You're not wearing your diaper, so you gotta be down here. Yes, dog. Can I help you? Hello. Those of you who are on TikTok definitely see a little pause over here. I can't even pick you up because you're still in your little, heat situation. Okay, so any more advances in Crimea? No, not currently. President's office said 1 killed in Russian strike on infrastructure facility in liberated Kherson. Forbes estimates Russia's December 5th missile strikes cost at $400 to $500 million. Prosecutors discover another Russian detention facility in Kherson. Russian occupiers allegedly used the facility to detain over 100 people with pro-Ukrainian views. The detainees could be subjected to physical and psychological pressure. What? Health Ministry recommends suspending elective surgeries, hospitalizations due to blackouts. The move will reduce the load on Ukrainian hospitals and allow them to provide emergency care during possible electricity cutoffs. Prime Minister Shmyhal says electricity deficit in Ukraine is at 19% after latest Russian attack. Ukrainian media expert declines German Press Freedom Award over Russian co-recipient. Oksana Romanyuk, the head of the Institute of Mass Information, rejected the Joanne Philip Palm Award for freedom of speech in the press due to the award also being given to Russian journalist Alexei Venediktov, whom she called an official Kremlin liberal. The former editor-in-chief of Echo of Moscow, Venediktov, more than once promoted Kremlin propaganda, publicly called Putin his only boss, boasted of connections with Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov and Peskov and other functionaries, Romanyuk wrote on Facebook. Yeah, I don't understand how they can give the freedom of press awards to Russian journalists. Governor says 1 injured in Russian strike on Dnipropetrovsk Oblast. National Bank, Ukraine's foreign reserves surpass pre-war levels. Growing global business amid war, lessons from Ukrainian tech company Kitrum. During the war, Ukrainian tech company Kitrum has not lost a single client and continued to grow. Foreign clients want to work with Ukrainians. They love their courage and willingness to defend their values, says the company's founder, Vlad Kitaynik. That's actually really cool. Explosions reported in Dnipro as of 3:20 p.m. Germany blocked Polish offer to place Patriot air defense systems in Ukraine. Norway is going to allocate 14.5 million euros to military assistance for Ukraine. Zelensky visited the front lines. State Department of the U.S. says U.S. is neither enabling nor encouraging Ukraine to strike targets in Russia. Departing Swedish diplomat Fredrik Veslao speaks about the war crimes investigation process from the inside and about the recent EU initiative to establish a special international tribunal for the crime of aggression. Civilian casualties in Ukraine may be 3 times higher than UN estimates. Oh, yeah? Sirens reportedly activated Russia's Engels Airbase, no Cine. And Ukraine UN envoy says begging Moscow for peace or appealing to its common sense is absolutely useless, which is something I'm sure we all agree on. And the Schemes project has released satellite images showing the aftermath of the explosion at the airbase in Kursk, from where Russian military aircraft are attacking Ukraine. So this is the airbase, and this is the cloud of smoke. So that is all the news I have for today. Please let me know if you have any questions. You're welcome to ask them. I will try and answer them to the best of my ability. I am a little slow today, and I am feeling like I can feel my headache really badly. So do let me know, but you're not discouraged from asking the questions. It's just that my answers might not be as sharp as normal. Sini, what's up? What's up, Gremlin? Yes, I need to lay down and then we're gonna go for a walk. Can I help you? Oh, alrighty, guys. I guess I'm actually going to, I'm going to need to log off because I'm just having two, it feels like there are two things here and they're just pressing and pressing and pressing on my head. No fever, Netlin. Just like I didn't sleep very well last night. So I've been like, not feeling very fantastic. Oh, thank you guys. Have a good night. So good to see you, and I hope you enjoyed a brief little news podcast newscast. See you tomorrow. Bye, guys. Good to see you back, Jen. Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much. Hi, Jillian. Thank you, guys. Bye, guys. Bye.